Peace. Come here, Reflection. Let me give you clarity about what's going on in the case of the state of Georgia versus our king versus Chief, the modern day Messiah, right? We about to break down the 2 plea offers that he was given and why none of the charges against him even make sense. They don't add up. Look, this is an original copy of the first plea agreement that they gave Chief from DeKalb County. If you look at what's going on in this document, it shows you that the state was willing to nolle prosse the first charge. The first charge, if you see what it is, it begins with an R, the R word. They wanted to nolle prosse that charge in return for him to serve 7 years in custody. Now look, I got a short video that I want to show y'all of the second plea deal that the state offered Chief, that he denied. But I want to emphasize one thing to y'all. Listen, in cases where the state finds somebody truly guilty of committing something serious like the R word or any heinous crime for that matter, they don't offer to drop the charges, or they don't offer pleas to go with lesser charges. They push straight for conviction. And that's why they showed you on the first document, they said nolle prosse. They wanted to nolle prosecute the first charge, which is the R word. Why is that? I'm about to show you. Now look. Nolle prosecute or nolle prosse, whatever way you want to put it. The most common example is a lack of strong evidence from the state against the defendant. An insufficient amount of witnesses can also lead to a nolle prosecute being entered. Nolle prosse or nolle prosecute simply means that the state chose not to prosecute with the RAPE charge. They chose not to move forward and prosecute with that charge. Simply put. Now look, let me pose a critical question to you all though, to the state, whoever is looking at this video. If you are confident in yourself that somebody is guilty and committed the R word or the R charge, any type of heinous crime, why would you drop the charge and offer a plea for an unrelated or a lesser charge? That don't make sense in itself. And look, man, the key point is this. You don't offer plea deals to someone that you believe is guilty for any type of heinous crime. You only do that when you don't have sufficient amount of evidence to prove that to be a fact. You only do that when a case can't hold its weight on its own. You only do that when you know you're in the wrong and you want to save face and don't admit that you're maliciously prosecuting somebody.
And there was a plea offer that was presented by the state. Mr. Coveney, will you put the details of that offer on the record, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Count 1, rape, would be reduced to the charge of aggravated assault, and count 2, false imprisonment, would be offered for no cause. Defendant would plead guilty to counts 3 through 5 the indictment and 3 counts of revenge form. The total sentence would be 30 years, so the 20 years on aggravated assault would run consecutive. The revenge form charges would run consecutive to the 20 years on aggravated assault for a total of 30 years. There would be between 10 and 20 years to serve in confinement. That number would be left up to Your Honor after argument from the parties. There are several special conditions that are attached to the sentence. Those include no contact with the victim, as well as the defendant may not profit off of this case or the facts giving rise to the case, and the defendant will be banished from the state of Georgia except for Clayton County.
All right, I'll give you a few more minutes to talk, but then if we need to move forward if we're not going to do it. So
now that was footage of the second plea deal. Now let me show you what a plea deal is, or what plea means if you don't know what it means. Now look, a plea deal is an agreement that the defendant make with the prosecutor to get a reduced charge or a lighter sentence. And guess what? The key word was agreement and plea deal. Chief declined both plea deals. And guess what? He stood on truth and he stood on righteousness. But listen, these are the facts of the matter, right? The state's inconsistencies, their lack of evidence, even them offering Chief 2 plea deals shows that Chief is innocent, because you would never offer somebody who's guilty plea deals to get a lesser charge or drop the charge that you're trying to convict them for. That whole case was a setup. This is all a part of God's script and God's dream, right? This is a part of Babylon's program of COINTELPRO to target the rise of a black leader, to target the rise of a black Messiah, the phenomena that will come to free the minds of God's people and God's children. Your arms are too short to box with God. Babylon times is up. And guess what? Chief is the way, the truth, and the light. And the light will always expose the lies.